Hi, my name's Noshad, so I'm going to know Youshubes on the Spurs video podcast. Apologies, it's been a while since my last video podcast, unless you count me, my mate again is Belbo, and my apologies for that. It's just been really busy. You can talk about a few things, Spurs, and just go from there. Obviously, we've been hearing a lot on ITK, Boas, possibly Luka Modric leaving, and us getting Nurat Sahin in. Jan Vertonghen. There's quite a few things going on with. I've been watching the Euros, not all of them, because there have been very few games that really interest me. I will be watching Germany vs Italy tonight. I'm really looking forward to see what Andrea Pirlo does. It was really funny actually. I was struggling to remember his name a few months ago. 6 months ago, my mate Miss P and another mate of mine, Peter Molnar, was like, I was trying to, who the hell is that player? He's driving me absolutely insane. And then I think nobody will forget Pirlo's name. He's been a player at Tom, obviously, won the World Cup 6 years ago with Italy. And it's an interesting story from my perspective. He was a player that was told, you're too old. He was let go from Milan. He then goes to Juventus, wins the title with them, although they're still up to debate, whether they'll still keep the title or not. And he's enjoyed a real renaissance, ironically, in Turin. And I just think it's something very incredible about that. And I think players like Wilshere, Huddleston, even Xabi Alonso, everyone can look at that and say, wow. I saw it was Italy vs Croatia, and he ran the show. Speaking of things Croatian and running the show, Luka Modric, we saw he had an amazing game against Spain. He was extremely motivated. Obviously, he's playing a bit more advanced up the pitch. And a lot of players do play better for their country. I mean, there's 5 million people in Croatia, the smallest nation. Yeah, I mean, for them to have a team as good as they do, you can't deny there's something incredible in that gene pool. The thing that annoys me is that we didn't qualify for Champions League. Well, there's a lot of reasons for that. One of them was a guy that was eventually sacked by Daniel Levy. For me personally, I think Luka Modric, I think Levy is in the driving seat. He will easily say, I'm surprised he doesn't even say 35 million. 35 million plus Sahin, that is basically potentially a £15 million deal. Obviously Sahin has to agree terms and everything else. There's a lot to hold it up. Someone will say, do you want a player that doesn't want to play for you? It's a tough one. I mean, Luka Modric is absolutely instrumental to our play. I'll never forget when I saw, when we were playing Bilbao, as soon as he came on, that we just looked more cohesive as a unit. Obviously, I think this is in the days when we had Crouch and Pav and everything else. I think if we are able to get Adebayor, hopefully we'll have a much stronger midfield. After you've got Parker, Sandro, Huddleston, we can, playing a 4-2-3-1. Obviously, it'll be interesting to see how, if we adapt that to life without him. I'd rather send him to a non-Premier League club, move on. And if he wants to let him go. But I think Levy will be told that Levy will say to Madrid, look, these are my terms, 35 mil plus Sahin, and and that all has to happen. If it doesn't, forget it. Simple as. He's a 4-year contract. Speaking of 4-year contracts, Gareth Bale just signed a new 4-year contract, and he must be a high earner. I'm guessing at the 65, 70k bracket. So if that money's gone up to even 80 to 90, then I'm guessing that's a good indication that we will be selling Adebayor. I don't think we'll be offering him 220 grand a week, but I think 100 grand plus that thing for his African charities. I think if we work it out, I think we'll be getting Adebayor. And who knows, Luka Modric. If it may be that they may not agree terms. Maybe Sahin doesn't agree terms with us. I mean, I don't know how much Sahin's on, but if you go from Dortmund to Real Madrid, I'm assuming you take a hefty pay rise. I'm thinking that if he does take a hefty pay rise, he won't. Will he be wanting to pay for us? He might decide, what, like Diarra, I want to stick it out here. I want to stay at Real Madrid, and that's fine. You want to stay at Real Madrid? That makes sense. You're contracted. You want to prove your worth. And I think that's a huge lesson there for Mr. Modric. Obviously, the Sigurdsson rumours, the guy, to come here, he didn't have a great time at Reading. Went to Hoffenheim. Obviously, wasn't doing that brilliantly there. loaned out to Swansea, and it worked. And it worked out a treat. One thing that intrigues me is that they had a deal with 6.8 million. Obviously, Rodgers then decides I'm going to go to Liverpool, and now the deal comes to 8 million. And that's what I can't work out. How has he got an extra million in post-season? That's something that intrigues me a little bit. Obviously, can score goals, can take free kicks, corners. You know, so as many of my Spurs Forum friends have said, also not that out of him. I think something we've noticed quite a fair bit is that he can get goals from midfield. Is he going to one season wonder? I don't know. I mean, we're all very aware of the Michael Ricketts phenomenon. You know, but I think the difference is that he stayed at that club and then he went on to Middlesbrough, and let's face it, they were a pretty shit side anyway, so it depends how it goes. But he's 22, you know, the world is his oyster, and I think playing as part of a 4-3-3 as they did play at Swansea, you know, you have to be a lot more active, and I think he's shown that ability. You know, he's shown that he is coachable, and you know, if you some players, no disrespect to Swansea, but if you put them in with better players, they just evolve. Two things make players better: actually playing, training with better players. And I'm hoping the combination of both could, you know, propel him into, you know, being, you know, the new Rafa, I guess. Although, as my friend's Debs is only ever one Rafa. Debs is a huge Rafa Van der Vaart fan. Hopefully he'll stay, and you know, we'll go on to hopefully get the Champions League again. I'm actually really happy. I mean, obviously the Luka Modric thing really pisses me off a little bit, but aside from that, I'm really happy. I mean, obviously we haven't got a manager, and hopefully that will be sorted out. It probably will be Villas-Boas. I would like to know what his vision is for the new Spurs, and obviously why. Obviously he was offered a 3-year contract. Why not a 1-year rolling contract? That's something that intrigues me a little bit. I think with Harry, I think Harry and Levy just basically the marriage is over. It was, you know, they were an odd couple, and I just don't think. I think you don't play chicken with, you know, Daniel Levy. And Villas-Boas, you know, yes, he was fired, yes, you know, but obviously maybe it was flavour of the month, maybe it was a Mourinho Mark II. I think, you know, I think what he was trying to play at Chelsea. One thing that worries me is that Harry Redknapp was very good at getting the best out of our players. He did that in 2008 when he signed us, when he joined, changed things around a little bit. We dipped a little bit, but he was best at getting things out, you know, played to our strengths. Villas-Boas didn't do that at Chelsea, and he sure as hell didn't have the good management skills. But let's face it, Scolari, you know, he's a World Cup winning coach, and he still, you know, had trouble. So it's always gonna be very, very difficult. So that's my one fear, is that, you know, that I think the Chelsea thing has stained him. And, you know, can he? You know, let's face it. I don't. Obviously, I don't like the idea of Chelsea fans saying, "Oh, you bought a Chelsea reject, you bought a Chelsea reject." But you know what? If he can make it work, yeah. I mean, there are many players. I mean, like, was Real Madrid, you know, was Rafa a Real Madrid reject? Yeah, but he's done really well for us. I want to, you know. So for those guys who are thinking, you know, can he do it? Will he do it? That kind of thing. Some players don't have the best times at other clubs, or managers don't have it. You know, look at Brian Clough, had a bloody awful time at Leeds United, but turned it around in Nottingham Forest. So I think it'll be an interesting thing to see how things go. Gonna give shouts out to Eggsy, who's a huge fan, Kevin J, and Major Hank. This is part 1. I've got a few more things to talk about, but as always, I'm really appreciative of all your support. And if that link does click, I would be really grateful if you would click on my videos that do have ad links, and, you know, help make a few pennies. Thank you as always. Come on, you Spurs.